the next step is to generate the GSTR 3. For this, the user again needs to go to the home page, click on the Services tab, then the Return tab, and then click on the Return Dashboard tab. Again, select the financial year and the period for which the return is required to be filed as April. Thereafter, click on the Search button. The following window opens up. As you can see, it is showing the status of GSTR 1 and GSTR 2 as filed. Then click on the Generate button to generate the GSTR 3 summary. To view the GSTR 3 summary, the user needs to go back to the home page, click on the Services tab, then click on the Ledgers tab. Thereafter, click on the Utilize ITC or Cash command. The following window opens up. This window shows the details relating to return related liability, assessed appeal related liability, and deposit against investigation ID. Click on GSTR 3 to view the return related liability. The window screen opens up as follows. This window displays the total liability under other than reverse charge, interest, late fee, penalty, reverse charge, interest, late fee and penalty for each of the tax heads IGST, CGST, SGST, cess and total. As you can see, my tax liability for the month of April is 1800 IGST. Now, when you scroll down, 3 payment options are displayed. First, pay through provisional ITC. Second, pay through ITC up to previous month. Third, pay through cash. In pay through provisional ITC, you can use the ITC balance as available in the current month. In pay through ITC up to previous month, the user can use the ITC balance available in its electronic credit ledger up to the previous month. Since I am filing the GSTR 1 for the month of April for the first time, there is no previous balance available. But when you are going to file GSTR 1, 2 and 3 for the month of July in the month of August, then you must be having the balance in ITC up to previous month as balance carried over from the earlier tax loss which was duly reflected in Tran 1. It is recommended that a user must first utilize its ITC balance of previous months rather than provisional ITC, as the previous month's provisional ITC must have been finalized by now. If a user first utilize its provisional ITC, then there might be chances that my provisional ITC is rejected due to some reasons, and it may ultimately lead to payment of differential tax liability with interest to the government. Next, in the pay through cash mode, you can discharge the tax liability by Challan. Now, I have a tax liability of 1800 to be discharged. I am first utilizing my provisional ITC balance to discharge this liability. Before utilizing the ITC, the user can check the balance of ITC available to him by clicking on the Check Balance command. This screen shows that I have ITC balance in IGST in the current month as 6000. There is no carried forward balance, and the cash balance is 50,000 each in IGST, CGST and SGST. So now I can utilize my full ITC balance to discharge my IGST tax liability of 1800. One thing I want to tell you, that the credit of IGST has first to be utilized for the discharge of IGST liability, then CGST liability and then the SGST liability. Similarly, the ITC balance in CGST can first be utilized to discharge my CGST tax liability and then the IGST tax liability. Lastly, the ITC balance in SGST can first be utilized to discharge my SGST tax liability and then the IGST tax liability. Cross utilization of ITC of CGST with SGST and vice versa is not possible. Now coming back to my example, I am utilizing only 900 balance from my ITC balance, rest I would like to pay by cash. Now click on the Utilize ITC command, the following window opens up. Click on the Confirm button to utilize the balance in the ITC ledger. Now I am left with 900 IGST liability to be discharged. I would be discharging the same by cash. For discharging the tax liability by cash, a user first has to create a challan. For this, a user needs to click on the Services tab, then on the Payment tab. Now you can see there are three options available. First is Create Challan, second Save Challan, third Challan History. In Create Challan, a user can create a new challan to discharge his tax liability. In Save Challan, a user can view the challans saved by him. In Challan History, a user can view the total number of challans generated by him. Now, we will click on the Create Challan command to create a new challan. Now we will click on the Create Challan command to create a new challan. The following window opens up. In this, the user has to enter the amount of challan he wishes to generate for each tax code, that is CGST, IGST, SES and Delhi GST. In my example, I have entered 20,000 each in CGST, IGST and Delhi GST tax head. Now the next step is we have to select a payment mode. There are three ways by which we can make the payment. First is e-payment, second over the counter, third NEFT or RTGS. I am choosing e-payment as my payment mode. After that, click on Generate Challan. The following window opens up. It says Challan successfully generated. You can download the GST Challan generated. This is a sample GST Challan. Now once the challan is generated, the user has to make payment of his tax liability. In my example, I have selected e-payment as my tax liability. In e-payment, again there are two options. First, net banking. Second is the credit or debit card. I have selected net banking as my payment option. When you select net banking, the name of banks through which the payment can be made gets listed. A user can select any bank via which it wants to make the payment. I have selected Union Bank in my example. Thereafter, click on the Make Payment command. This will take you to a secure gateway. Enter the user ID and password and click on Sign On. When your payment has been made successfully, an acknowledgement receipt shall be generated by the bank. Thereafter, the following window opens up. It says, your payment is successfully completed. Now coming back to my example, I will utilize this cash balance to make payment of my balance IGST tax liability of rupees 900. So I have entered the amount in other than reverse charge as 900. Now I will click on Pay Through Cash command and enter the amount of cash to be used, that is 900. Then click on Utilize Cash command. Then click on Confirm button to confirm the payment of liability by cash. The following window opens up. This completes the process of filing the GSTR 1, 2 and 3, generation of challan and the payment of tax liability. Hope you will find it useful. In case you have any queries, you can contact me at my mail ID, which is flashed on the screen below. Thank you. Have a nice day.